Hello everyone. I want to make this short video to introduce the course, but I also feel that I should introduce the subject of economics itself since principles of micro is most people's first engagement with the subject. For good or for ill, economic forces touch almost every aspect of our lives. Clearly, economic forces are at play when we're deciding what products or services to buy, what jobs to apply for, or when we're making retirement decisions. More broadly, though, how we divide our time between work, education, and leisure is an economics decision. Even deciding who does the dishes within a household is fundamentally economic in character. So this discipline that examines everything from the division of labor in a household all the way to the cycles of boom and bust of the macroeconomy has become incredibly influential. Maybe the most economist who've ever lived, Keynes, once said, "The ideas of economists and political philosophers, both when they are right and when they are wrong, are more powerful than is commonly understood. Indeed, the world is ruled by little else." But economics, like all human endeavors, is fallible. It is at times asserted that poverty is inevitable, but public investment can lift people from it. It has told us that the developing world can only hope to grow by allowing their resources to be looted. Meanwhile, it has also asserted how they may avoid that fate and create long-term growth for their citizens. It's told us that the minimum wage puts the poor out of work, only to later assert that it is immensely beneficial. Economics has told us that nothing can change, but also that a better world is possible. So you may be wondering then, how can something widely considered to be scientific put forth these completely contradicting conclusions? It's because economics is a social science. This makes it a little bit less of a science and more a way of telling convincing stories about how the world works. A writer uses language to persuade. The economist uses equations, graphs, and yes, even the odd word or two to convince people of how they believe the world works. This course is intended to give you some of the basic tools that economists use to tell these stories. You'll become fluent in supply curve, demand curve, and utility function. You'll learn to recognize a good story from a bad story, and maybe just start to compose a few stories of your own. Alright, so on to some of the more mundane stuff. I'm going to talk about just how the course is going to be run and how to navigate the Canvas page. So this course is going to be delivered entirely online. There will be pre-recorded video lectures posted every Wednesday. That is also whenever the new assignments for the week will be made available. The following Tuesday, I will hold a discussion section at 6 p.m. To talk about the material from the previous week, and then everything will be due the following Wednesday evening. So that's kind of the sequence. Wednesday through Tuesday is kind of the week of this course. Exam weeks will have no additional content, and I will have a review session before the midterm, and likely also before the final, though scheduling gets kind of weird there. We'll talk about that eventually. So let's talk about the Canvas page here. This is the main page that you'll land on. I've got a few announcements at the top here, basically talking about the textbook and the Zoom meetings. The textbook has been made available digitally through Inclusive Access. That means that it's also included with your student fees. You can opt out of that, but you have to do so before a certain date. So to access the book, you just click Bookshelf, and it'll bring it up here, and you can go ahead and read the book here. This is also the page where you would opt out. And this is where you would be able to read your book. So going back to the Canvas page, top link here is the syllabus. If you want to know the outline of the course, the grading policy, and other course policies, just go ahead and take a look here. It also has contact info. The primary way I would prefer for you to contact me is through Canvas messages. I check those more frequently than my email. But let's look at the current week 1, and I'll try to update that as the course goes on. A typical week's page will have a short written introduction of what we're going to talk about that week. It'll have the readings that are listed for that week. So these are the textbook chapters. And it'll also have an embedded video lecture. I've yet to make the one for this week, so it's just a placeholder, but that's where the video will be embedded in the page. Below that, you'll also have the to-do list for the week. So that will be all of the assignments and quizzes you need to complete. The specific rules for each of those and instructions are on the specific assignment pages. And finally, at the very bottom, there's additional resources that I might post, like relevant news articles, but also just the slides and notes for a given week. So that's just how I get around the Canvas page. I hope that helps navigating this whole thing a bit smoother. Let me know if you have any questions, and I think that's it. Thanks.